Hello there. So today I'm going to be talking about the Giving Voice to Values Case 5 from Chapter 2. In it, Troy and his direct report, Kristen, have recently returned from a medical conference down in Orlando. This conference ended up aligning with Troy's son's spring break from school, and so him and his family ended up staying in Orlando a little bit longer to, sightsee, visit Disney World, Universal Studios, and whatnot. Naturally, after they come back from the trip, both Troy and Kristen end up submitting their expense reports. Troy's is a little bit higher. The problem arises when Joyce, the accounting supervisor for the hospital, ends up asking Kristen about the discrepancy in the expense reports. Kristen has a decision to make here. She could cover for Troy. She could say that he ended up staying a little bit longer, had to attend an extra session the next day. She knows that there is precedent for this. She knows that there's been people in the past who have padded their expense reports, and she knows that at the same time that Troy didn't attend this extra day, and that the expense report is very likely not completely accurate. On Troy's part, he has the credibility and reputation with his wife to think about. She had tried to, nudge him in the direction of submitting an inflated expense report, mostly for the reason that he is away from home lots of the time. That's unrecoverable time. He should be compensated a little bit better for it than he currently is. And there's also the financial inconvenience of, Troy ended up spending a little bit more money down in Orlando than he had intended to. Personal problem, yes, but this is a way to kind of even his checkbook out a little bit. At the same time, if he is found out, there's definitely going to be some sort of repercussions, a reprimand, potentially job loss for him. If there's not, which would be strange, he would at the very least lose trust and confidence of some of his coworkers and whatnot, the relational damage that would happen at the hospital. And not only that, but his reputation would certainly take a hit. Kristen, for her part, if she went along with it, there would be, the moral congruency issues. She might have, feel strongly that this should never happen, and she would be going along with it, kind of covering it up. There would be a reputation with her boss, Troy, to deal with if she did end up, kind of snitching on him, kind of letting Joyce know what the situation is. And at the same time, if she was found out after covering it up, there would be consequences there as well. For her part, Kristen can, directly talk to Troy, explain the situation, and say, hey, I know this is wrong. Can you submit, or you need to submit an amended expense report? She could also let him undervalue his next expense report, kind of, even the scales. It's definitely not a perfect solution by any means, but an option. She could also meet with Troy's boss, kind of circumvent Troy, since she is a report of his, can circumvent him and go to the next level up and see what the boss would want to do. In order to get around Troy's reasoning, why he has submitted this inflated expense report in the first place, she can, reiterate to Troy that this is essentially theft. You're taking money you did not earn, and that's theft. Definition right there. She can also explain why she doesn't want to be a part of a cover-up, not only for, the potential repercussions on her part, but also explain that it wouldn't look good for Troy either if he and both of them were complicit in this act. And she could also lay out the relational repercussions if they were to be found out, either one of them. For this whole thing, I think I would probably lean towards directly talking with Troy. Sure, it's going to be a hard conversation, and definitely not something anybody wants to be confronted on or found out about, but that would be the direction I take. At the very least, if it didn't work out with him, then Kristen would be able to, go directly to the boss of Troy's go that next rung up on the ladder, or go directly to Joyce and see how let the chips fall as they may. So hopefully that covers everything. Have a good evening.